Hello and thank you for downloading this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Before we start the show tonight, we wanted to give everybody a word of warning that each episode produced by Movie Guys Podcast is for a mature audience. You have been warned. Also, all of our reviews are spoiler filled. So if you have not seen the film that we're going to talk about tonight, turn off the show and come back when you're ready to listen. Thank you so much for downloading, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. And tonight we are talking about the 2019 Aladdin remake, retelling, whatever you want to call it, live action. I am Jordan, and I'm joined here, like always, with Eric and Ed. And Eric, you look like a street rat. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm trying to still figure out our controls actually for YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. So while I'm figuring that out, Ed, how are you doing? You fucking riffraff.
Listen, all right, you ain't never had a friend like me, so don't act like you don't act like you did, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
You never had a podcast like this one. Movie Guys, boom. Jordan, get off your fucking phone. We're live on YouTube. Sorry, I said the F word. I apologize. No cursing this episode. Policing,
trying
no cursing this episode.
Exactly.
When did we come up with this no cursing rule?
This is a kids movie we're talking about.
I mean,
it's a kids movie. We will curse. We drink and fart and burp and curse during the regular ones. But I would prefer it if we, there are children out there, so can we please not swear during these episodes?
So going into Aladdin here, this is our part 3 of ever-growing Disney live-action series. If you want to check out on our archives, we did our first one with Beauty and the Beast. We did part 2 with Dumbo this year, and now part 3 here with Aladdin. So the hype going into this movie here, everybody, was that Will Smith is blue and this movie's going to stink, right? I mean, that's what everybody was saying. Everybody was saying this movie was going to be terrible because Will Smith is blue. How dare they make him the genie? That's what the fanboys were saying. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I do. We're back on par, by the way, here, boys. I apologize. I've been drinking a little bit, so this is gonna be a fun review. Will Smith got a lot of shit. Actually, no, it wasn't him. It was Disney and the CGI team that they got a lot of shit. And lately, that this seems to be a hot topic in movies nowadays, right? Is the CGI quality that we're getting? I feel like it almost started with like Lord of the Rings The Hobbit, rather.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed to be like there's like this steady decline in CGI. That it seems to be kind of like this, almost like this budget type of thing that seems to be happening. I noticed that there's a trend in just kind of rant videos on YouTube now where they argue about the CGI quality, whether it be Aladdin in the blue Will Smith genie, or obviously we're all inept to the Sonic controversy now. So this is a thing where we did Dumbo, and Dumbo was basically just eye candy, and I feel that, again, this is another Disney movie that just applies that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because I feel the reason why there's a backlash on it is just because we're getting 5K TVs now, and we're getting 5G cell phone networks, and we want the bigger, better thing. I also think the problem is that it's not the 90s anymore here, guys. We don't have the big, famous post-production studios out there anymore, like a Lucasfilm, like an ILM, like those kind of big ones that would be like, oh, ILM did this. This is a movie to see, right?
Sure.
Like they just don't do that. It's not the factor anymore, not the it factor.
I will say in that endeavor though is that they had a director in Guy Ritchie. I follow Guy Ritchie, and I'm not even kidding you, I will usually go to a Guy Ritchie film knowing that he had done that, if it's usually more of his style, whether it be like a rock and rolla or what's the one with Brad Pitt?
Snatch.
Yeah, Snatch. Thank you. Or even Sherlock Holmes, in those regards too. So I feel like Disney is able to cash cow these directors, whether it be Guy Ritchie or Tim Burton with a Dumbo, in that regard. And that's kind of again where their money pull is coming from. Get
Well,
Guy Ritchie, get Will Smith.
and I've noticed that they've gotten a lot of big name directors to redo these movies because they, in my opinion, Disney being the biggest film studio right now, they own literally the rights to everything huge. They've made a concerted effort to give some film quality to these movies. I love Jon Favreau's Jungle Book. Seriously. And the I don't want to call it the opening scene because it wasn't, but the scene where they sort of introduced Aladdin, what he's running through the bread scene in the cartoon where he does this thing that they've sort of merged two scenes in this movie from the original, where he's supposed to be singing that Street Rat song.
Street Rat.
Yeah, but anyway, where he's running around.
One jump ahead of the next man.
Yeah. You're gonna make me sing it, really? But they you could sort of see a lot of Guy Ritchie in those parts, and some of the action-ish parts you can see some Guy Ritchie tendencies. So, I'm glad that they at least are trying to make an effort to have real filmmakers turn these cartoons into live-action film. They're giving an effort. I'm not saying they're succeeding all the time, but they're trying.
In that case, can I go ahead and tell you that, or say that Disney can only steal what they can afford?
There we go.
Yep. And that's everything.
Yep, everything.
That's everything.
God damn. I feel good about that.
By the way, today was the opening for Galaxy's Edge, and all the celebs in the world were there. And I wished I could have been there, but it probably cost an arm and a leg. That's why CPO's arm was red in the last one.
There's a challenge in this movie, obviously, with a lot of these Disney movies that they're coming out with, is that they have to compare with its predecessor. And that's obviously, they have to know that with every person who bought a ticket to this movie.
Yeah.
Do you feel that this movie gave some fan service?
No. I actually feel this movie dampered the legacy of Aladdin.
Really?
There is a lot of hate going out online right now. There's a lot of hate going on.
Jordan, I'll give you your point, but I want to get to Eric's after you're done.
I actually saw this in theaters at 10 o'clock on a Friday night with my wife. So I went in with movie guys goggles, full go. I was debating with myself if I was going to come in here as a fan of the original when I was a kid, or should I actually sit this down and review it like we're doing? And I chose the latter. And Will Smith is the only good thing in this movie. All the fans were wrong. Will Smith is not bad. And I'll give you some examples.
Please.
Let's go with Aladdin first. Terrible casting choice on him. He did not know how to exude emotion at all. The street rat, in my opinion, when he's called a street rat, it's like using the N-word. So I want to feel him be hurt and offended by that. Right?
By N-word, you mean Nerf herder?
Sure.
Yes, very scruffy looking.
Which he wasn't. He was not offended. He didn't go into a song and dance about it like he did in the original. There was no emotion with him on that. That was my first complaint with Aladdin. I'm assuming you guys don't agree.
Continue.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, people were going into this movie hating on Will Smith already. And we live in a culture where nobody looks to change their mind. They only try to find things that affirm their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hate culture.
Yes, and everybody was hating on Will Smith because Will Smith is a goofball, but he's like a forced goofball on social media. He's not funny anymore because now he's a dad and he doesn't make Will Smith Fresh Prince jokes about girls. Okay. So people were hating on Will Smith because he's one of the biggest movie stars in the world, going and doing a part. Robin Williams, let's go back to the original. That part was 100% Robin Williams. It didn't define his career, but it was the keystone to it.
It defined Genie.
It did, and you can't talk about Genie in Aladdin without talking about Robin Williams. So Will Smith stepped into literally impossible shoes. All right? It's like the guy who will replace Aaron Rodgers. Can't do it. It's like the guys who have tried to replace Peyton Manning since then. Can't do it.
Football aside, I have to.
But you see the point I'm trying to make is that you can't, to step into those shoes, they're impossible to fill. So regardless of how good you are, okay, let's talk about basketball. It's the NBA Finals are on tonight. Derrick Rose trying to step into Michael Jordan's shoes. Derrick Rose was great, but you can't fill Michael Jordan's shoes. Just can't do it, right? So Will Smith trying to step into those giant curly shoes or the blue smoke that was the Genie, right? It doesn't matter who they would have put there. Could have been anybody on the planet. They were going to get a ton of hate at the end of the movie. So, but Jordan, I will say to this, he did what he was supposed to do. He wasn't Will Smith playing Robin Williams playing the Genie. He did what he had to do, knowing that he wasn't going to be loved afterwards. He did what he could. I didn't necessarily like the choices they made him make. Okay. Which, for example, when it came to Friend Like Me, like Will Smith is not a singer. So they gave him the ability to have some level of hip hop in Friend Like Me. That wasn't his fault. That's what A, his forte is, and B, what people are wanting to hear now. You know, did you guys see the video that was released today of that Old Town Road? That kid in that middle school or elementary school.
Yep.
All those little kids knew that song because it's just what people know now. It's hip hop. So you had to have some level of that.
I actually heard this. Your point, 100%. I'm on board with you. Someone had mentioned that it's called a Jar Jar Binks syndrome.
Oh.
Because all the classic Star Wars fans hated fucking Jar Jar, but if you ask everyone who was like 14 and younger, they all were down. Like they all were just like, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, my nephew loves Jar Jar Binks. My nephew's about to be 7 in a couple of weeks. Okay, loves Jar Jar Binks. My cousin, who was under the 10-ish when those movies came out, loves Jar Jar Binks. Star Wars fans of our age hate them because of what happened. Yeah. My favorite thing about the new canon expanded universe is that Jar Jar Binks died a poor Gungan on the streets.
Good.
So I guess my point is that no matter how good this movie could have been, the people our age, it wasn't going to foot the bill. Which is why I watched the original first, and immediately following it, I watched this movie.
I feel like you set a bar. I feel like you set a big bar with that.
And
you set a precedent.
And here's the thing. I knew that if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to objectively talk about this movie because I would be remembering how Aladdin made me feel in the 90s as opposed to watching it with the intention of discussing it.
Sure.
I actually left the original when it was over with the exact same feeling as I had rewatching this movie.
Interesting.
Or excuse me, watching this movie. Exact same feeling.
All right. I mean, the story does very much stay on the same track, right?
Yeah. Well, wait. I spoke about my displeasure with the actor who played Aladdin. I'm also going to talk about my displeasure with the actress that did Jasmine in her story. Now, the actress, which I did not know this until after the movie, this is Kimberly, the Pink Ranger from the new Power Rangers movie that came out. So I did not know that she didn't look the same to me. I don't know because of the makeup or whatever.
Because she was not wearing a Power Ranger suit.
Sure.
That was an obscure movie. We can safely say Power Rangers is an obscure movie.
It's in our archives. Go to movieguyspodcast.com. Go to archives. On the tab there, you'll see the Power Rangers. Go back and listen to it. We were not on YouTube then, but you'll have to download and listen to it.
So my problem is not with Will Smith at all and Genie. My problem is Aladdin and Jasmine and some other characters. But let's talk about Jasmine. It's not her. It's the director. Eric, you praised Guy Ritchie. I actually despise Guy Ritchie. I think Guy Ritchie has a terrible career. He is another John Singleton. He made one good movie, and he's made nothing good since.
Wow.
And his choices of directing are just terrible. So I'll give you my point. If you want to change the story to Aladdin a little bit, then that's totally fine. But this, she wants to be a sultan. This new sultan storyline is interesting, but it feels out of place with the movie. It doesn't feel like it's in this tight world. It feels like it's on the outskirts somewhere else. And I was very unhappy with her pro-woman, I guess. I don't know what else you want to say it. Songs, because they were flat. They were delivered poorly. And the lyrics did not get me excited at all. And my wife shares the same thing because she was like, oh, this doesn't do anything for me. And the last complaint is every time she had to sing and she does that Frozen foot stomp moment, right, where I am woman, hear me roar, Guy Ritchie decides to turn the camera around her 360. And he does that 4 times. And it's just like, that doesn't make any sense. This doesn't fit with the story.
I know all the big words. I got the best words. Listen. Okay, look, you got to remember, Jordan, I understand where you're coming from because we live in an era today, and I'm not opposed to it, where filmmakers and the film industry is trying to give, for lack of a better term, reparations to every woman they've ever scorned because they've done some real terrible things to women over the course of time. This is a Disney princess movie. Okay? In the early 90s, Disney wasn't necessarily about anything other than you want to be a princess, little girl. You got to find the right man. You fall asleep, true love's first kiss. Don't listen to that witch. The right man will be there for you. Today's narrative is not that narrative. And I'm so happy that, you actually have things along the lines in Disney storylines and the rest of the film industry of strong female characters. Okay, I'm glad that we got this, that in Disney's world of Star Wars. My most passionate film you have a strong female Jedi character. It's only natural now because women can be president, Jordan, and it's perfectly acceptable for that. They should be allowed to be seen as wanting to be a sultan. It's okay. It's okay. Now, on your point of the songs being flat, yes. Okay, the songs specifically to me didn't touch any heartstrings. Like, it didn't make me emotional about her wanting to be sultan. But at the same time, storyline-wise, she should want to be sultan. She's the only living heir to the sultan.
Few things of that I'm going to play off of you because I agree. I really do. I feel that this was given a good spotlight to Jasmine to have her song, as the same way the Beast got his solo in Beauty and the Beast. Whereas before, both characters had not gotten a solo, even though that they were, I dare say, the main character or main characters in both stories. Obviously, Beauty and the Beast, his name is in the title, sure. and Jasmine obviously is the main. She's the main character. So her getting a solo was fine. She had one in the Broadway version as well, and it was close to it. Where this movie was about her not being silent. Is that something to that accord?
Yeah, about her being silent.
Yeah, and I think
she won't go quietly into that good night.
Sure enough, and the Beast was about his standing up and being the man that he is, type of thing. So like they have these moments, and that's great. Um, I felt that. I mean, it wasn't. It's not like it was unnecessary. It was fine. It was great for the movie. I felt that it fit the tone of everything too. The action. I know what you're talking about. The camera work, where it did this whole kind of freeze frame type of thing, and then this whole 360 type of thing for added effect. I mean, that's filler, right? I mean, because what else are you going to do, kind of in that moment? And that's just a kind of a Guy Ritchie type thing. He did the same thing for King Arthur, I think, right?
Yeah. All of his
So
movies have that. You can see a lot of Guy Ritchie filmmaking in this movie.
yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, God damn it, I know that you're with your whole Guy Ritchie thing, but the man has done a goddamn. I mean, Man from Uncle is amazing. I'm gonna talk him up from that like
Great
that.
read.
King
Great.
Arthur was fantastic. Rock and Roll. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sucking too much dick, and I don't need to do that. But I understand. There's the new additions to songs that had always had. But listen, from what compared to the Broadway, because the Broadway had like 3 new songs, something like that, and they were trash. When I tell you like that, when Aladdin is like solo monologue singing to the crowd about how he wants to be this beautiful boy to his father, it is not good. And so be thankful we didn't get that shit. In fact, be thankful that we still got CGI Apu and CGI Carpet. Because again, in the musical Broadway, we just got 3 douchebags instead. We got 3 human characters. There were his interaction, his playfulness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's on that. Actually, let's talk about the B characters. We got Carpet, who was really fun in this movie. We had Apu, who wasn't as much as a character as it was in the cartoon, but I understand that they can't do too much with the live action scenario here. But Diago,
Iago.
was it?
No D. Just
Iago?
Iago.
Iago. Iago was not a major character in the original, but he was a B player. He was a character. He had speaking roles.
Don't disrespect Gilbert Godfrey like that, man.
Right?
Or Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk.
You know what they say about
I'm a leaf on the wind.
Watch
how I stood.
My favorite joke is always, what they say about Alan Tudyk is that 2 dicks are better than 1.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
I just kind of felt that they kind of dropped the ball on the
okay, move on.
On the Anago thing, because he was kind of an interesting major character in the original movie, and all this was just pretty much just a talking parrot. He did nothing really to the plot. He did one thing to the plot, and that was tell Jafar what was going on by repeating. But they completely reworked that character, and I missed that character. I kind of wish they would have done him a little bit justice.
I can 100% agree with that, and the same thing with Apu. Yeah, I mean, yes, these were not cartoon versions of those characters, because you can get an animated monkey Apu to screech, and you can understand what he's saying, and you can have Iago having full-on English conversations with Jafar in a cartoon.
Sure.
And I do agree. I mean, I missed that. I wish that they would have been able to have added some of that to this movie. I don't disagree with that point at all.
I mean, like, they're going to do it for Lion King, and they did it for Jungle Book, so why can't they have talking animals?
And you know what? And I'm glad you brought up Jungle Book, because to me, Jungle Book is the bar for live-action Disney films. Okay? One of the things that especially Dumbo and this movie were sort of missing is that the Jungle Book Jon Favreau didn't try to basically make a shot-for-shot remake of the Disneyville version. He tried to remake his own story. He wanted to retell his own story. And you only had 1 or 2 songs in the Jungle Book remake, the 2 iconic songs. I would have liked to have seen that maybe in this movie, just to be nitpicky. I mean, there really are only 3 key songs in Aladdin that everybody knows. of course, you got Friend Like Me, Prince Ali, Prince Ali, whatever the introduction song, and of course Eric's favorite. What is it? What's the name of that song, Eric? Can you sing it for me?
The Street Rat. No.
Oh no, no, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about A Whole New World, of course.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
See, you can't say there's three because there's so many iconic songs.
Well, but and here's the thing: like when you're thinking of Aladdin,
I'm trying to forget my karaoke songs, by the way.
that was what I was going for.
Thank you. I don't want to tell anybody that.
But you just told the whole world, so we'll go with it. I was trying to subtly make fun of you.
Trying to make a whole new world right now.
Yeah. And for upcoming for the other upcoming movies like Mulan. Be a Man is like the most iconic Disney song in my opinion. Mulan was my favorite. Mulan was my absolute favorite. So I'm hoping that we don't get a combination of what we've seen in a lot of those things, but I'm just being nitpicky at this point. I mean,
I feel that there are stories that no matter how they are told will still hold. Aladdin, I feel, is just one of those stories because it hits notes that no matter who the character is will still play to your heart. The example would be when Aladdin wishes for Genie's freedom. That's a great point right there. Or the part in Mulan when Mulan goes to her father with all of her accomplishments and he tosses them to the side. Like certain key elements in Disney movies will always just play, and this is kind of the Shakespearean part about this. It just works. Some things do and some things don't, but for the most part, it just happens to be that way. And also, when you say that they also repeat things, I want to mention that Disney tends to repeat things. When you talk about greatest songs ever, would you guys agree that Jungle Book's what's the King Louis? You who I want to be like you.
I want to be like you. That's the song. That and
A Friend Like Me. Do you feel like that those two are the same beat, same tempo?
Oh, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, they're the same. Yes. I want to be like you, you ain't never had a friend like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they are, but then again, now we can talk about music. All music in the last 100 years has been a repeat. There was the same three chords can be sung. There's a famous YouTube video about it. The 100 greatest hits of the same three chords.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, music is just literal repeat. Broke my heart. I'm sad, or I'm so happy I'm in love, or it's like those are just the same two things, just on repeat, set to different words.
Unless you're a country singer, then you talk about Dip, Budweiser, and Jesus.
That's true. If you play a country song backwards, you get your dog back, your truck ain't broke down, and your woman still loves you. Yeah. Let's roll some coal, boys.
But when you say, Jordan, to your case that the actors were in this role, or maybe not as well casted as maybe they should have been, I feel like they had more of a simple role to play. In that, I didn't mind it actually, and I actually felt that Will Smith did a pretty good job. He sucked. Listen,
he did.
Everyone, horrible singer. That was a bad choice. That was bad. And the other thing that I will compare it to in the Broadway part, because the Broadway musical is played by a very boisterous black man usually from that, and he fucking kills it every fucking time. And it's great because he's just like a CeeLo Green type of thing, just big, every time. And Will Smith had more of like the swag attitude, but not like the pizzazz attitude. Does that mean? Is that there's not as much grandeur in the Genie role as
what they should have done is what they've done in movies before multiple times. We've seen it thousands, hundreds of times, is have Will Smith play the Genie. But actually, Eric, you read my mind. Have a CeeLo Green sing the actual song and have Will Smith this lip sync off of it, because CeeLo Green that type of singer could give us that big grandiose song that make you want to tap your feet to it. However, though, I did not have an issue at all with this song and dance number of Genie. including Prince Ali. Thought he was fine. I did not see what people were complaining about before the movie came out. I do not see what the issue was with him. He's blue. Janie's blue. Who cares? I mean, and when Ed said earlier in the review here, Robin Williams is iconic. That's another problem that I have. Is that of course Robin Williams as the genie is so iconic. Of course, not a single person is ever going to touch what he did. Right. So when you know that going into the movie, you know that he's not going to reprise his role because he's no longer with us. Take your head out of your rear end and just watch the movie for what it gave us. Will Smith was a great substitute. I can't think of anybody else that would do just as well as a good a job as him. The problem's not him. The problem is Jasmine, Aladdin, and Jafar. Those three, which are the three that I'm supposed to care about the most, really fell flat for me.
You know what? We haven't talked about him yet. Jafar, by far, was absolutely terrible.
You think? Do you really think so?
Oh, I 100%. I mean, Jafar, and again, I can say this by having watched the original immediately before watching this version. Jafar is the catalyst to the entire story in Aladdin. And Jafar, who played him in the original? Jeremy Irons.
Let me look it up.
Jafar, I felt more passion about Jafar's being evil in the original. I felt afraid for Aladdin. I felt afraid for Jasmine. You could tell that the plot, the Game of Thrones, was twisted and turned by Jafar. In this movie, the remake, he just so happened to be the antagonist, but he didn't twist and turn the story. He was just a mere bad guy in the movie that was pushed along by what I'm going to say is Aladdin's fear of telling Jasmine the truth. This movie was pushed by Aladdin and Jasmine's interactions, as opposed to the original being pushed in the direction it was by Jafar's evil actions in an attempt to overtake the Sultan. So, in summary, they completely changed the fundamental of the movie because they took Jafar away, or because Jafar was so flat. I 100% agree with that point.
Jafar 92 was played by Jonathan Freeman. He's basically just done a lot of Disney voiceover after that secondary work.
Okay.
See, I don't understand why they had to give us the Jafar backstory of how he was exactly like Aladdin. He just chose a different path. It was a dropped line. They didn't spend a half hour explaining it.
Perfect.
Which is fine. But just like the complaints I had with Jasmine's storyline, was that Jafar background needed for this movie? Really?
Sure.
I don't think it was, because it's unnecessary. He's a bad guy. Do we need to know? This is a Disney bad guy. This isn't a drama bad guy. We don't need to know.
It just helps a bit more to show you how consumed with this goal he has of consuming all power. Like that, maybe that's all that is. We didn't get too much of a backstory about what he's going through. We just know that he is really like just determined and convicted to this one ultimate goal, and that's just to achieve ultimate power type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think I can understand that they had kind of beaten the horse a bit more with the idea of it, but at the same part, like I don't know, I didn't have an issue with Jafar so much. He just seemed like this power hungry type of guy type of thing. And like I think the casting was fine, because I don't know if they wanted to do the whole fucking Harvey Weinstein, or who's the fucking the gay guy in the birdcage and shit, and this dog.
Oh yeah,
talks like this all the time. You know,
he was in The Producers.
Yeah. Oh man, Harvey. Oh, Fierstein.
I'm not going to remember his name.
No, that's it. I'm telling you, I just confirmed that. I mispronounced the last name, but yeah, Harvey Fierstein. You know, to that type of Jafar, we got this more kind of evil, kind of ego, narcissistic kind of being, and I like that. I'll tell you right now, the fucking Sultan. You can't tell me that wasn't Joaquin Phoenix in a beard. Like it looked like Joaquin Phoenix the entire fucking time. It confused me. I googled it twice as I was watching it just to make
His
sure.
name was Naveed Nijaban.
No, that was Joaquin Phoenix. You cannot convince me otherwise. If you look in certain scenes towards the end, that man is Joaquin Phoenix in a beard. It looks really bad. It looks freaky. Like
if it were Joaquin Phoenix, it would have been better acted.
Yeah, would have been.
Touche.
All right, guys, let's get into our popcorn rating here for Aladdin. Ed, what will be your popcorn rating for the 2019 Aladdin movie?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to get right to the point. I mean, both of you have said everything that I enjoy about it and all of my gripes. Will Smith was not terrible, okay? I feel as though there couldn't have been another person that you would have put in there that would have done a better job. But at the same time, he didn't do that great of a job. It wasn't his fault, per se. It's a very flat character that Robin Williams made great. And Will Smith didn't make the character great. He just continued the flatness of the character. Aladdin was poorly acted, poorly sung. Jasmine, I liked her. I liked the story. She's not that great of an actress. I'm sorry. All the acting in this movie was absolutely just terrible. Guy Ritchie is a great filmmaker, in my opinion. I've thoroughly enjoyed all of his films. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., remake, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, all those. I just love all those movies, okay? With that being said, I would probably have crapped all over this movie, again, had I not watched the original. Because I left feeling the same way, I just realized that I loved the movie based upon nostalgia, not because of anything that actually happened in the movie.
True.
So I'm going to give this movie a medium bag. Little extra butter on it, because it wasn't as bad as people were saying it is, and it's a retelling of the story for a new generation, and I can't wait to have conversations with my nephew and anybody else that's younger about how they think this one was great and the original was trash.
Well, I myself am going to go with Ed and give this one a medium bag. It was okay. It wasn't a great. For some reason, I felt that Beauty and the Beast deserved the remake for some reason, and I feel like this movie was unnecessary. I know that's kind of a hard statement to wrap your guys' mind around.
I think it's fair
because it is for me to say it, but it's just unnecessary. But for what we got, it wasn't terrible. We have seen and reviewed a lot worse. So it's just Jasmine and Aladdin just didn't do it for me. And those are the characters I'm supposed to find. And just wasn't it. So a medium bag for me. Eric, what will be your popcorn rating for Aladdin 2019?
Boys, I hate to kind of get this across the board, but I have been describing this movie to everybody that I see this is a DVD watch. This is a medium bag with some extra butter on it. Listen, I didn't dislike this movie. I enjoyed it for the most part. Again, my hardship was really with Will Smith singing. It was bad, and he did it more than once. And more than twice, I think, actually. He did it like 3 or 4 times. It was just not good and not convincing. The tongue-in-cheek humor was fantastic. It was fine. It was playful. It was a family movie. It was a kids movie. It captured the same essence, just as Ed had said, as the first one. I think I left the same as I did the other from watching both. I can't hate on this movie. I really, just like you said, Jordan, we've seen a lot worse. This doesn't deserve any of the hate that it's getting. Was it a attempt that maybe missed its mark? Sure, I can see that. At the same part, it didn't undercut any of the Aladdin world that has already been built. You know what I mean? It just picked up off of a new trend. It looked great. It was a lot of eye candy. There was adventure. As a kid, I'm sure this is going to get a lot of replay value. There was no white people casted. There was only the one prince that looked like an idiot. So you had a very diverse cast of it too, and that's always good to see. Just because the original, obviously cartoon, didn't have any fucking white people either in it either. I don't know if that makes a difference. Medium bag, extra, like with some extra toppings on it. That's really what it is. This is a DVD watch, and it's kind of like worth a DVD watch. I would actually, if it was on Netflix, I probably wouldn't even mind watching it again. To be honest with you, as a background.
Well, anything's better than Dumbo for so far.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And yeah, like, yeah, I aside from the singing, Will Smith actually did a pretty solid job as Genie. Like,
yeah, he did a good job. I don't know what the problem was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna rah,
No.
but like at the same part, he did a good job. Like I'm gonna give some credit where it's due, and he did good. Good on you, Will Smith.
I just think when it comes to, like female Ghostbusters and Genie and Star Wars and Marvel and all these things that people love, I just think that people really need to check their sensitivity at the door and understand that Robin Williams, God rest his soul, did a great job. But you can't go into a new Aladdin movie expecting the same thing. You're just not going to get it. So just be happy that we have decent actors that are doing it, and just check your sensitivity. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. It's just a movie. That my 2 cents on that, because I don't agree with it. I was actually pretty upset when I left the theater. I was talking to my wife on the way home, and I was like, "What was the problem with Genie? Like, what was the hate? And it rubbed me the wrong way because Will Smith did what he did. It was fine. It was good. It was okay. He did a better job than I would. Either of us three would, right? So I mean, he did fine. Good for him. So. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for watching and also listening to this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Next week, we'll be coming back to a franchise that Eric loves, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So we're going to be diving into that one. This will be part 2 of our ever-going Godzilla retrospective, because next year we're getting King Kong versus Godzilla.
I think they're calling it King of the Monsters. Is that...
This one is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, this one is
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, working title. No, I thought it was called something. Yeah, either way, I'm excited.
Yeah. So next week we'll be getting into that, and don't worry, fans, because the week after Godzilla, we'll be diving back into superheroes with Dark Phoenix, which I'm really excited to check out. So thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure to hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Just search for Movie Guys Podcast. Watch us live here, youtube.com/Movie Guys Podcast, and also on iTunes, on Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and on movieguyspodcast.com. Thank you so much for everything, and we'll be back next week for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Have a good night.